Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be talking about online privacy and security in South Korea and also relate that to big tech and what's going on here. So first of all, we're going to get into my setup and then I will tell you a little bit about privacy, and then we can talk a little bit about GrapheneOS, which has been a bit of a trend lately because PewDiePie has started using Linux, Graphene, self-hosting, all these sorts of things, which I've been doing for a long time, and it'll be very interesting to share that with you. So first and foremost, we're just going to get into my privacy or minimizing data collection setup, because that's what I'm mostly interested in. So beside me, I've got two phones here. So I've got my Samsung S23, which is just a running stock Android, and then I've got a GrapheneOS Pixel 7 Pro, right? And then I've also got a flip phone, right? So the flip phone is just to run a SIM card which can only receive text, and I'm only using that for OTP. So that's the only real reason I'm really running this separately. Why do I not have SIM cards on my phone? Because I don't like telemetry, and I just want to reduce tracking in general. I don't really use data. You know, there's Wi-Fi everywhere in Korea, especially in Seoul, so that's a huge bonus. If you're ever considering, oh, do I need data, do I need a SIM card? You probably don't. You can probably just download stuff beforehand, maybe use coffee shop Wi-Fi, and get your maps and things like that. Like you'll be all right. But if not, whatever. Also, just a quick tip for that: if you are riding the trains in Korea, you need to have a Korean SIM for you to be able to be connected to the Wi-Fi on there. But again, you probably don't need Wi-Fi if you're watching this sort of video. Right, so that's the setup. So then, just to run through the phones, right now, I would ideally just be using this. I'd ideally just be using the GrapheneOS phone, no proprietary rubbish, besides Kakao and Naver, because you have to use those in Korea, or at least you have to use KakaoTalk. It's like kind of WeChat in China. You can't escape it. Besides that, and my banking app and Naver Maps, I probably won't be using anything proprietary. Now, the trouble is, my banking app just doesn't work on GrapheneOS, or at least it stopped working since a recent update, so that kind of sucks. Naver Maps doesn't allow me to track my location in real time, so if I want to go somewhere, I don't actually know where I am, and I can't follow, for example, set a point of going to, let's say, a restaurant, and I can set that, but I don't know my location. My location doesn't appear, so I'd have to type that in manually. That sucks. Can't use that. There's also a few other apps, so Pedale Minjok doesn't work on here. Coupang, I think it does just about work, which is nice. But yeah, those Korean apps don't work, and also Korean calls and text do not work properly. They just cut out halfway through, messages don't get sent. It's really buggy, and it just sucks. So with that in mind, then I'm trying to, the ideal setup for me right now would be to use this stock Android phone with just the Korean big tech apps, so like Kakao, Naver, all these data collecting sort of non-secure apps on here, banking, right? And just leave this at home, and I'm gonna use that for the Korean infrastructure when I need it. However, in life, it's hard to run two phones. You don't want to be running around with two devices the whole time. You want to have it all on one, so you can just go about your life and also not have to worry too much about data collection, right? So that would be ideal, but that is not what's happening. So that's my setup for my mobile devices and infrastructure. Then obviously on my PC, I'm using Linux, I'm running Debian right now. I love Linux, I just enjoy it. And even if it wasn't necessarily open source or privacy respected, I might still use it. I don't know, but that's the setup. Now, onto big tech in Korea. So if you make a phone number in Korea, it's actually tied to your identity. So when I say your identity card, which has your legal status, your name, your date of birth, your address, and I think that is it, right? That's what it has. It ties you down to who you are, and sometimes it's connected to your passport if you're a foreigner. That kind of sucks. So if you're trying to make a phone number in South Korea, you cannot escape that system, and the system is there to protect anonymity and terrorism and abuse online. And so even if in Korea, what's so messed up, right? If you leave a hate comment, if someone leaves a hate comment or what's a comment that's considered hateful, I don't really leave comments much anyway. They can actually, I don't know if it's jail time, but I think they can get fined for that, for hate speech, which is kind of a little bit concerning. But that's just more of a systematic issue, which I don't really need to delve into just here. So that's the privacy setup. That's a little bit about that. Yeah, Naver, Kakao, essentially companies that you cannot escape in Korea, and because Korea is a collectivist culture, you can't really get away with not using Kakao. You need it for your work, okay? So that just sucks. That's just a downside you're gonna have to accept if you are coming here. Now, so that's pretty much the setup, a bit about privacy. Now on to GrapheneOS. Okay, the GrapheneOS developers, if you're watching this video, if anyone's watching this from the GrapheneOS team, fix your shit, man. Like, fix your calls and text on this phone, fix banking apps and Korean map apps, and then I'll be happy and I'll stop complaining. But yeah, the calls and text thing kind of sucks balls, and I don't really know what else to do. I don't want to be using two phones. So if you guys can fix yeah, Naver and Kakao, or sorry, Naver Maps, Kakao Maps, banking, Shinhan banking app, and calls and text, then I'll stop complaining. But yeah, Graphene, man, kind of sucks in Korea. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the rant. That's all I wanted to talk about. If you guys are interested in this sort of topic more, I can do more videos on online privacy, digital security, and things like this in Korea. If not, thanks for watching anyway, and stay blessed, stay conscious, make good choices about your data collection, and ultimately, just be conscious, but don't go so far that you completely destroy your social life. Just have a nice balance of, yeah, privacy and security, but also having friends, right? Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video. Very awesome, very based. Thank you very much.